Right, so it's been a while again. I've been doing probably all right as far as things go. I'm just moseying along. I'm gonna make this probably short, and when I say that, I hope I mean it because I always end up talking for 20 or more minutes when I look back at the video. But so there's been a whole non-controversy going on, and I call it non-controversy because not because there isn't an issue surrounding it, there isn't an uproar about it, but if I'm being honest, it's like it's a nothing burger. It really is, and to be honest, that's most drama in general. But this one is especially a nothing burger, or it's just reached a point where I look at it and I'm just like, okay, whatever. It's the gaming sphere, really. It's to do with the gaming sphere, and what highlighted it to me was really one game in particular. But honestly, I guess I just noticed a pattern in general. I've been noticing patterns across years. For example, I'm gonna just say it: the Stellar Blade non-controversy. I just had the urge to say something right now, so I just whipped out the camera and said, "All right, let me just quickly make a video about it." And it's not gonna be my opinion on the situation isn't what you think. Now, to get this out of the way, though, I will say that I think that the new protagonist, I forgot her name already. To be honest with you, like I was just watching the video, I forgot her name already. But the new protagonist, whoever her name, oh, was it Evie? Evie, very peculiar that name, but Evie obviously has something to do with Eve, but Evie, I don't think personally that she looks like a child. Now, in the first frame, the way she looked, the angle and stuff, like her cheeks looking a bit bigger, I could see why you could make the argument that maybe she looked a bit young. But generally, for the entire video, I didn't get that impression. And if you were to ask me the age range, I'd say 17 to 19 years old, maybe 20. That's my opinion. However, many people agree, disagree. It just depends. Like I watch a streamer, and I didn't even think this would blow up as much as it did, but he watched the trailer and then, well, let me just say it's he watched the trailer and he was like, I think this character looks young. I was like, hmm, maybe I could see in the first frame or whatever, but I didn't really agree with it. But I just brushed it off. I mean, that's his opinion. Who cares at the point? End of the day, that who cares comment. Jesus Christ. The next day, that who cares became evident to me how much people really do care. I mean, I get it. It's not just him, but because there was many streamers who said this, but they were all like they're streamers, they're public figures, and when they have opinions, people have opinions about those opinions. But um, I wanted to zone out because it's no longer about who's right versus wrong. This happened. It wasn't last year, no, a year or two ago, 2 or 3 years ago. I don't remember when the original Stellar Blade came out. Actually, when did that shit just come out? All right. I would just do a quick search as well. 22. Okay, yeah, 2 years ago. Literally 2 years ago because April and it's June and whatever. So yeah, the game came out 2 years ago, but even before it came out, the promotional materials, everyone was complaining about Eve, and I don't think it really was about age, although some people did try and say that she was young, and I was like, what? Because the model and the stuff like that. But they were complaining about how another game where people being sexualized. I don't think these people get it, but like something like an argument I hear being thrown around is like, yo, if you really think these ugly characters in Western games are so good, then get these characters, find some female in real life, and tell them you look like this character. Watch their reaction. So maybe you'll be lucky and you'll have this confirmation bias where they might personally just either not react or say okay, but like that's not even really because that probably isn't even because they agree. They're just so bewildered by you coming out of nowhere and saying that. But like if they're taking you seriously, they'll actually look at the character. Mm-hmm. But point is, you need attractive characters in these games, bro. Like even setting aside what you think is the right opinion to have, look at just the charts whenever these games of ugly characters come out versus the games of good characters. Stellar Blade did very well. Made by Shift Up, love that company. It made Nikke. I love Nikke, so I obviously wanted to check out Stellar Blade as well. Now, again, zooming out from all of that though, is that there was controversy last year no, 2 years ago with that game. There was controversy somehow with Pragmata. Everyone knows about that, and I feel like everyone was more unanimous in agreeing it was stupid to try and frame the entire game as if it was pedobait. Because what? Um, but yeah, when I say zoom out, it's like disregard everyone's opinion in the matter. And I actually wanted to talk about the fact that I'm starting to realize the issue here. It's not even that people have opinions about these games, because at the end of the day, the streamers, for example, who are being complained about the most, obviously, is that they just say what they're gonna say and then move on. That's pretty much how it is in every case. Unless they actively go on Twitter and start typing something, and that's different. But like when they're on their stream, they say something and then they move on. And in most cases, they just expect to have said that, give their opinion, their take, and then it's never really brought up again unless maybe they see it again. But the next day, obviously, there's a whole uproar about it, and I'm really, and you have to ask why though. It isn't just that these streamers have opinions. Whether actually, to be honest with you, I don't really remember the names of the other streamers apart from Asmongold who said it. Like I saw other streamers say it, but I don't remember their names because I only watch Asmongold because he streams late in my time. Like it's like 7 p.m. and I don't have the time to watch everyone else. Like I can't watch everyone. Like I watch one other streamer, but she's a VTuber and she's not a political streamer, whatever. Um, yeah, I only really know Asmongold's name, but there were many other streamers. So it's like it's not just the fact that they're saying it; it's the fact that after they say it, not even them, but what they say gets clipped and then posted on mostly Twitter, and then people start dogfighting over whatever the hell they said. And I just take a step back and I realize it's not even the streamers themselves, but everyone's being farmed by clippers. I don't really think they have skin in the game. They're just trying to make a buck in most cases. Like they do the things that they do because it gets reactions and then they can make some money off of it. In some cases, I don't really know how the whole Twitter monetization thing works, but that's generally how it goes, as far as I'm aware. And even if they don't get paid for it, well, they clearly are doing that just to get a reaction. I mean, why else would they be doing that? They're in it for the love of the game. And I was just thinking about it, and this entire just drama space happens because people love profiting off of drama. This the entire situations that go on and off happens because someone says something, um some person clips it specifically, like especially if it's edited specifically, so like they'll clip like 30 seconds of what they said, and they'll take it out of context and then place it somewhere. And even if they don't take it out of context, even if what they say is all the context you need, they still don't want to take that and post it specifically with the purpose of inciting a response. Because if it wasn't to incite a response, why did they only clip things rather than just repost the entire stream? Obviously, there's the issue of the fact that why would you do that? But you obviously know that they're going for those things specifically. They're going for the loudest, most divisive things you can think of. And when they post it up, the internet swarms like locusts and just devours the people alive. Not that their devouring does anything, depending on who they're going after. They could crash out like Hassan does, or they could just laugh it off like Asmon does and double down hell, for example. But um like once I realized the mechanics behind it, once I see the strings being pulled, I suddenly felt a lot less emotional investment into any of it. Even when it's an opinion I disagree with, like with the Pragmata situation. Once I realized that these people um have what they say posted for the sake of you getting emotional about it, it's like I don't have the energy for that anymore. It's like you're into it until you see how it all works, and it's like, shit. I mean, well, the Pragmata situation, I will admit, was a bit different because unlike the Clippers just posting it again, it's like they go onto the internet and they start spamming whatever the hell their opinion is. And at that point, I can't even blame people for dogpiling them because like who the fuck asked? Who the fuck asked? I mean, you can say what you want, but like then don't get surprised when someone else comes and just dogpiles on your ass. But yeah, apart from that, it's like it's like it's a giant waste of time. I think at the end of the day, with all of this, just play the games you want to play. Don't play the games you don't want to play. And I'm not trying to do the cop out excuse where it's like um to avoid criticism of games. Like you typically hear in many fandoms, if you don't like it, don't play it. Because in many cases, people do criticism because they want to like the game and stuff. I'm not talking about that, but I mean it in a sense of to the extent that you dislike the game, when someone gives their opinion of the game, you're better off just ignoring it. I think you should just ignore it. Because if that person is correct, then the reality they speak of will manifest. Let's say they say this game is going to fail and they don't like the game because of X, Y, Z. If it's going to fail, it will fail. Like, there might be a rise in players on the weekends, everyone knows that. And concurrent players, obviously, if it's that type of game. And then after the weekend's over and everyone has to go back to their jobs, suddenly you'll see a dip again. So, regardless of what you have to say, no matter what they have to say, um, the results are going to speak for themselves. And at that point, aren't you really just wasting your time getting mad that another person has an opinion? I feel like it's ridiculous to even get mad that someone had an opinion. Like, you could say unless they have a dumb opinion, but then how do you really define that in some cases? Because a dumb opinion to one is just an opinion I disagree with to another. You don't often always have a unanimous case where someone is genuinely just being stupid and saying some like saying the shit that they said about Pragmata. Um, you don't always have that. In a lot of cases, it's just I disagree with you, so your opinion is stupid, and that's why there is no objective truth or lie being told. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you say, there's gonna be some kind of there's gonna be a result. The result being the success or the failure of the game, regardless. Um, then there's the whole God of War stuff. Um, I didn't really think I was gonna talk about that one because that was another thing. That was another another dot to add to the graph, I guess. Um, I feel like in both sides, I haven't really thought about what I wanted to say about it. But the way I see it, it's like if you like the game, that's valid. I don't think it's invalid because I've seen there's a law behind God of War, obviously. There's law behind it. And I think it's not invalid that as long as there's a story going on, eventually the story is going to move on from one character to the next. However, that's my opinion on that. So people saying you can just put Kratos again, I actually disagree. I disagree. It would be cool if you could keep having Kratos, but that doesn't really work in a story, you know. And like it really depends on what kind of story you're trying to tell. But with Laufey, I don't even know how to pronounce the game. I haven't really heard it be said a lot. But that the new game that's coming out, I'm pretty sure it was gonna come eventually. So when people say just make a new Kratos game or a Atreus game, I mean maybe Atreus. I don't know about that one, but with a new Kratos game, yes, but no, because you could do that, but how long are you gonna keep doing that until eventually you need to make a new? You're gonna move on. It's gonna happen again eventually. So why not now? But I do agree that when I see the model that was rendered for the character versus what the actual actress looks like, I see two different people. I see a vague similarity, but I see two different people. I don't think dismissing the game is no point in doing that. I mean, I think the game's gonna do well. I do think that game's gonna do well, but they could have made her harder. I'm just saying they could have made her harder. Now you could say, oh, she's old, but it's a fantasy game. It's a fantasy world. She's not even a human. She's like what a titan, a giant, whatever. They don't die when they reach the age of 80 to 100, maybe even 70 to 100. So, I mean, would they really age the same as a human? And Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, that's all it is, right? It's just an opinion you hold. It doesn't matter. But even again, even with the God of War drama, that too is just an opinion. Did the streamers who had to say what they had to say go out and publish their opinions? I would have to go and check. But as far as I'm aware, the Clippers were behind that as well. At the end of this, all I have to say is don't get rage baited. Don't. Like it's so easy, but don't be one of the sheep. Don't be one of. I'm gonna say it. Don't be one of the goy. Don't be one of the goy. Just don't. If you see something you disagree with, the healthiest thing you could do is laugh and then move on. Responding isn't the problem. It isn't even a problem if you get emotional, but at a certain point, what are you doing? Like, when you take a look at yourself, are you really proud of yourself for that moment? Are you proud of yourself for getting so angry that you became a keyboard warrior? I wouldn't think you would be proud of yourself for that. I mean, you could do what you want, but hey, at the end of the day, this is just my opinion. And that's about it. I am looking forward to the game, though. I am looking forward to the game. I haven't even finished the original Stellar Blade. Like I first played it on PlayStation, but I didn't get too far because inertia. Inertia is crazy. It's this crazy thing called inertia. And what people with ADHD suffer from is an inability to carry out certain tasks that require executive function. It's been a real pain in my ass for my entire life. I kind of just stopped playing PlayStation at a certain point. It wasn't just Stellar Blade, I just stopped playing. Wuthering Waves came out and I was able to go back and play a lot more, but by the end of 2025 again, I wasn't playing PlayStation again. I came back for 3.0 for La Roy, and then February came and I got my PC and I was playing games again. But nah. I did get the game again on Steam though. I'm trying to get all the games I have on my PlayStation back on Steam because obviously I want to play on my PC rather than my PlayStation. Yeah, it just sits there at this point. But um, yeah, I have made it to the city where you meet that old guy. I'm not very good of names. The old guy with a bunch of machinery in the back of his head, where you go meet him and he tells you you need to go and find these new boss Nightibas so you can find the elder Nightiba. It's shit. So we're going on a monster fetch quest, but I think this one's gonna be fun because I'm enjoying the game so far. And Jesus Christ, I can't even lie to you. I get stuck whenever there's a ladder in the game. I get stuck staring at it for a while. I sometimes don't even move. It's sometimes hard for me, but but I hope to finish the game before the new one comes out. There's a lot of games I need to play. Like, I need to play Persona 5 Royal. I'm at Kaneshiro's Palace, so I need to finish that. That's also another game I started playing on PlayStation. Jesus Christ, I'm at the 18-minute mark. I always do this. I think I'm just gonna have to accept that I'm always gonna yap for a while. But I did finish with everything I had to say. I'm doing well enough. Jesus Christ, I need to be medicated. And I'll see you guys when I see you. That's all for now.